Hi guys, welcome back. Today we'll be talking about a drone pre-flight checklist. So you might be wondering what a drone pre-flight checklist is. Just a list of things that would help you ensure that you're very well prepared for your flight even before your takeoff. Is a list of things you have to go through, and you have to ensure that everything on that list is okay and working fine. That way it helps you prevent any occurrence when you're out there flying. On this video, I'm going to be listing a set of things that you have to check and ensure that are working fine on your drone before you take off. That way, so that everybody would be safe. So basically, a pre-flight checklist will help you ensure that your drone is working in optimal condition, and that way it ensures the safety of those around you, and it also ensures the safety of yourself. And it's going to give you a bit of leverage because you know that your drone and your equipment is working very fine. For the first one, we are going to talk about the weather. What you should look out for when you're checking for the weather is the chances of it raining, and also you have to check out for the wind speed. These are the two things that would affect your drone flights when we talk about weather. So number two, you're going to check out for a no flight zone. So basically what you're trying to do is to ensure that your flight path doesn't take you into a no flight zone. And a low flight zone means you're not allowed to fly your drone in there. So you just have to check and ensure that your drone flight path doesn't get into a no flight zone, so you do not get into trouble with whatever authorities declared that place a no flight zone. Number three, you're going to look out for interference. So basically, interference is whatever would block you from having like very strong signal to your drone. You have to check out for building, you have to check out for towers, you just have to check out for any form of obstruction whatsoever that might ensure that you don't have very strong signal between your drone and your controller. So in checking that, you check for mobile radio towers, electrical wires, and metallic objects. These are the things that might cause any form of interference between your drone and the controller. For number four, you have to check out for obstacles. So you ensure that your flight path is free of any and every obstacle, so you have a hitchless flight. For number five on the pre-flight checklist, you have to check for people. So basically what that says is you have to ensure that there are no people within your flight area, and if there are people within your flight area, those are people that are involved in your flight operation, so they know what it is that you're going to do at every particular point in time, ensuring the safety of everybody within that airspace. For number six, you have to check for the temperature. Basically, in doing this, you want to ensure that the temperature is within the limit that your drone can handle. So if it's too cold, you don't go out to fly, and if it's too hot, hotter than the temperature that your drone can withstand, you wouldn't go out to fly your drone in those periods. For number seven, this is actually very important. Your SD card. Basically, this is the memory card that you put in your drone. So you really want to check that you have this correctly installed and you have it correctly formatted, because one of the most frustrating things is when you're already up in the sky and trying to take a shot or take a video, and you find out that you're getting errors from your memory card or your SD card, and you just have to come back to land and try to sort that out. If you had checked that when you're doing your pre-flight checklist, you'd have seen that something was wrong and you'd have corrected that there and then. For number nine on the pre-flight checklist, you want to check out your takeoff pads. This would help you ensure that you're taking off from a level surface and it gives you a good ground to take off from. Number 10 is the gimbal cover. You have to make sure that you take off the gimbal cover before ever you power on your drone for flight. Number 11 on the pre-flight checklist is to insert your battery. You want to ensure that your battery is fully charged, and when you insert your battery, you want to listen for a click sound. That when you hear the click sound, that means your battery has entered the drone very well and it's been secured. Number 12 on the pre-flight checklist is turning on your drone. When you want to turn on your drone, you have to ensure that there are no obstacles in the way of the gimbal, which is why you take off the gimbal cover in the previous pre-flight check. Next thing you want to do is turn on your controller, and in turning on your controller you want to check and make sure that your controller has enough charge in it. That way it doesn't go off while you are in flight, and which might lead to a very hazardous situation. The next thing you want to do is to load the app. So whichever app you're using, probably DJI or Autech or whichever app you're using, you want to load up the app. Make sure that it is connected to your phone and you make the connection to the drone also. Next on the pre-flight checklist is to check for firmware updates. This helps you to download and install the latest version of the firmware of either your drone, your battery, or the app you're using to control the drone. Next, you want to check for error messages. These error messages will tell you when something is actually wrong with your drone. That way you don't run into any troubles just before taking off. So when you turn on your drone, you want to wait and check for any error messages, and if you get any error message, make sure you check them out and correct the error before you take flight. Next on the pre-flight checklist is to wait for the GPS mode. So second to the last on the pre-flight checklist is to hover. Basically what it means is you take off and you hover for a minute. You leave your drone just to hover and check for any abnormalities. This helps you to check if anything is wrong before you take flight. And lastly, on the pre-flight checklist, when you've checked and you've seen that all of these are okay, the next thing to do is fly away Peter, fly away Paul. So that's it for pre-flight checklist. Next video will be on post-flight checklist, and I hope you guys have found this video helpful. If you found this helpful, please like, share and comment, and don't forget to subscribe also to my YouTube channel, and I'll see you on the next one. Don't forget to stay jiggy.